Here we are, it's 2018. Future dropped this Beast Mode 2. So I'm gonna go over it real quick. Probably compared a little bit to the original Beast Mode that he dropped in January 2015. But one funny note I wanna start off with is coincidentally, ironically, Future happens to drop his first solo project of the year on Sierra and Russell Wilson's anniversary date of July 6th. So I thought that was pretty funny and petty, classic Future move right there. But what you're really getting from this Beast Mode 2 is typical Future, full of misogyny, debauchery, and that trap lore especially is felt on this Zaytoven / Future project Beast Mode 2. As you all know, Zaytoven produced the entire album, so it's full of like trap vibes. Also, Future goes on throughout the album, kind of referencing women more so as a part of his image, a part of, like his pleasure more so than the sense of, having a woman in his life to be a partner with or something like that. Kind of like, I guess, what Sierra wanted. But this is the first project that he's dropped by himself outside of the miscellaneous things he's done earlier this year with the Superfly soundtrack and then the Colorbound project he was on by DJ Esco. But this project has 9 songs to rival with the original Beast Mode, which had 9 as well. This one is a little bit longer. It's coming in at around 32 minutes, whereas the first Beast Mode was around 28 minutes or so. But just running down the track list, we can start off with Wi-Fi Lit, seeing as that's the first track. Zaytoven has his signature piano keys all throughout this song. A lot of bass in this track as well. Future's just coming in, talking real reckless, getting back to, everything that he likes to kind of talk about and address. Jumping into the next track, which would be Cuddle My Wrist. This song, again, has the signature Zaytoven keys within it, but with the intro, it's sort of reminiscent of one of the cuts off of the original Beast Mode, Where I Came From. Definitely reminds me of that. Future's doing a lot of flexing on this track, as the title is Cuddle My Wrist. So, he's talking a lot about his jewelry, his women, just all the money he has. A standout line to me on that song was Dripper Severe, the God is here, Thick's in here, I got charted here. So it's just a continuous play on of the sound here. And I thought that was a really cool line, ending it with he got charted here. Future does a really good job of kind of painting the picture of his elaborate trap type of situations that he's getting into. And so I definitely could envision what he was talking about throughout this song, Cuddle My Wrist. Leading into the third track, Rax is Blue. Of course, we all know that's in reference to the Blue Hundreds that we got now. So if anything, when I think about this song, I just think about how, that cash money is usually fast money. He's getting a lot of it. Also, I started to pick up on a reoccurring theme throughout this project, which was basically Future coming from nothing and having it all now, which could tie into, the trap lifestyle, where you're selling drugs and moving weight, or even if you're just, if you want to do like a metaphor in a sense, just going to work every day. You're putting in work, you're putting in the hours, struggling, and all of a sudden, when that preparation opportunity meets, that's when you finally get your glory. Future is basking within his glory throughout this entire project. Leading into this next track, 31 Days. This beat has a lot of high energy, it's fast paced, more drums on this song than the keys that we're getting from Zaytoven. Really catchy hook, really catchy flow. One of the standout lines from the hook is, I done took a little E, I fucking made a P, and he goes on and on and on throughout the hook with catchy little phrases. But I thought that was definitely interesting. Future was definitely on his savage, no remorse, you know, no respect type of vibe throughout this entire project. The 31 Days song to me kind of was a song about how he indoctrinates his women into his free band gang lifestyle, which is full of like lean and weed and strippers and money and drugs and everything that you would think of when it comes to Future. And so he kind of just goes on and on about describing women that he deals with, and basically the whole premise of the song is he gets some hook after 31 days. Another interesting line I took from this track is, had to get a penthouse just for the freaks so they can all come sleep with us. So he's referencing getting a penthouse for, I guess, his favorite woman, for he and her, so they can have freaks come over. And so this is just the typical type of Future that you're gonna get, where, you know, he's not offering anything in terms of being with one person or anything along those lines. He's totally for polygamy. You can definitely hear it all throughout this project, all throughout his catalog, quite honestly. Next track is going to be that Red Light, classic Zay, keys again. Zaytoven did a great job on this project, in my opinion. The beats were all pretty great, and they had range as well. They all weren't the same. So I heard that they picked between 100 tracks. I wish they would have put some type of banger in here, because as you all know, Future, usually when he has a banger, he puts a project out and then it kind of bubbles. So usually his bangers start off you know, with a DJ pushing it in a club or in a strip club, and then it eventually gets onto the radio. Whereas, you know, some of the bigger artists, not saying he's not big, but some of the more commercial artists, maybe I should say, their stuff gets popping on the radio or things of that nature, maybe a club push, but he definitely has an underground bubbling, which causes, you know, his hits to kind of pop up. Throughout this entire project, I didn't feel like I heard a hit. Maybe the only possible potential club banger could be the 31 Days track, because it's high energy, it's catchy, it's easy to learn the words to the hook at least. But yeah, this Red Light track, I like it. You know, he's mentioned this often, this theme throughout this song, where, you know, if you got a lot on you, if you flexing, if, you know, you the man in your hood and you by yourself, you don't want to get caught at a red light. I mean, you could take it back to Menace to Society. I don't know if they were in a Mustang in that scene, but they definitely got caught slipping at a red light. So Future mentioned this again within that project Super Slimy that he did with Young Thug. And it's like, we don't ever stop at red lights at night, you know? So this is another common theme throughout Future, where he's just really bringing you to that free band gang, that FBG lifestyle, that savage hood lifestyle, hood superstar lifestyle, really, because Future always kind of celebrates the hood. You know, he talks about how he a product of the ghetto even throughout this mixtape. So it seems like something he can't really escape, and he loves to celebrate that lifestyle that he was brought up in, but at the same time, he's cautious, and that's kind of what this Red Light track represents. Going into Dodo, Dodo is straight up like Coke Boy music. Came in with a real hard beat. Again, not too many keys on it, just more so the bass pumping from Zaytoven. He got his partner in trap, or his partner in crime, Young Scooter, Black Migo Gang. Also on the original Beast Mode, he had Young Scooter on it there as well, and Juvenile. But on this project, he only has the Young Scooter feature. So this is the only song on here with a feature. Really hard beat. They're really talking that Coke stuff. Young Scooter has a really cool line that stands out. I can still touch a million cash when the bank closed. That definitely references, you know, the drug money he got that he's not trying to put in the bank or anything like that. So that's definitely a hard song. I don't really see it popping off at the club or anything like that, but definitely a hard track. Going into When I Think About It, which is my personal favorite cut off this project. It's a really chill, subdued song, reminds me of, what's one of the more subdued ones, like on the original Beast Mode? Probably Where I Came From again. That was a really subdued track. This kind of has a similar vibe. Future really kills this beat, going in, flowing. It was really good. He takes it from low energy on the chorus to sometimes brings it up to a high energy throughout his verses. So it's definitely a nice track if you want to play it in a whip. Definitely has a ride around town vibe. You know, it's a really good song. It's probably my favorite on the entire project. Going into the second to last song, Some More. And within this song, it's really hard to keep up with what Future's talking about because he's really, you know, kind of incorporating his trap lingo. A lot of people give Future flack because they don't know what he's talking about, and I don't even think it's necessarily because of that rap and singing stuff that's in style, but more so because of the fact that a lot of words that he uses, he doesn't use them in the traditional sense. Like he has another meaning behind the words that he's using, and he puts those words together. And so sometimes when you're listening to his music, you can't really tell what he's saying because the words that he's putting together don't necessarily make sense if you're using them in a traditional format. That's definitely going on a lot throughout that Some More song. He had a couple of notable lines throughout here. You can get flyer than me in my afterlife. Where I come from, you know, trapping a sport. So Future's definitely flexing all throughout this entire project and definitely representing the trap. It definitely has a hard trap vibe on this entire project. Leading into the last song, the outro, Hate the Real Me, definitely has outro vibes, triumphant feel. The beat builds up a lot. Drops at certain points when Future's rapping, but a lot of build up, which kind of has that triumphant feel. Future's getting real honest and vulnerable, really open on this track. He mentions that he's a product of the streets. Really, really, really cool line I feel like that the Future Hive would appreciate is, I took a chance when you had some miles on you. I should have fucked and blow some loud on you. So that's, you know, the classic type of Future people want, you know, straight up misogynistic lyrics, no respect for women. You know, if you're coming to a Future project, you don't need to come in expecting to hear any type of respectfulness to anything really. Just expect straight up disrespectful things to come out of his mouth. And if that's not what you're into, then you're probably not gonna like much of Future's music, because if you really listen to what he's saying, now, I don't know if he's like this as a person, but the artist at least comes off as he has no respect or regard for women, or even himself sometimes, by him talking about how he abuses drugs. But in interviews, he said that he does no drugs. So sometimes, you know, Future's a mystery, but definitely has some cool lines in this Hate the Real Me song, as I feel like it was his most vulnerable track on the entire project. He also mentioned something like she told her mama, she told her friends, she told her ex, she told the world she tried to smash me. I personally feel like this pertains to the situation where he offered to fly a girl out to LA where he was chilling. She then decided to flex on social media by saying that, you know, he ditched her and didn't pay for the hotel and all that stuff, when obviously she had insinuated that when they hang out, she don't want to have sex or anything. And I guess Future the person and Future the artist were feeling the exact same at that moment, because he did something pretty savage. You know, he didn't pay for the room, and, you know, he said that he wasn't looking to meet up with her if she wasn't trying to have sex, basically. And she kind of outed him for that, but she came out looking like the zero because Future's music reflects exactly what he did to her. So that's the whole funny part about it. So I think he may have kind of addressed that right there. And all throughout this song, he's continuously saying, you know, I'm trying to get as high as I can. I personally feel like that's just saying, you know, he wants to grow as an artist, grow as a man. He's not satisfied where he is in life. And personally, you know, I feel like this project was pretty good. It's a nice little surprise track. He announced it on Twitter the night before he decided to drop it, that he's going to put something out to keep the fans kind of salivating at his his main album, I guess, that he's gonna release. Because you know he's about to go on tour with Nicki Minaj, so he probably just wanted to put a little content out to, you know, get people excited about, you know, the future season or whatever. So, you know, in terms of me listening to this and kind of, I revisited the original Beast Mode. I would definitely say the original Beast Mode was way better. I don't know if Future was at a point of desperation, because if you go back to his song Know the Meaning from DS2, you know, he talks about how DJ Esco had got locked up with a flash drive with a lot of his best music on there, and so Future had to go back in the lab and cook up a lot of new stuff, and that's when he put out Beast Mode at the beginning of 2015. I don't know if he cooked up new stuff in the lab to drop 56 Nights as well, or if that he put some of the stuff that DJ Esco had on that flash drive out for that project at that time. But I know definitely for the original Beast Mode at the top of 2015, that was all original content. And so he definitely had to push himself. I think that was Future's best year, 2015. He released Beast Mode, he released 56 Nights, he released DS2, and then he also released What a Time to Be Alive. So a lot of good content, some of Future's classic content, quite honestly. So I would definitely rate that album better than this one. He had some bangers on that album, some club bangers, Layup, Peacoat, Real Sisters, just to name a few. And so I feel like this project they just released, to me, I couldn't quite hear a club banger yet, but you never know. Maybe one of the DJs down south can get something really pushing in the strip club and then take it to the club next. If I had to guess, I would think it would be 31 Days, because nothing else really pops out. Again, my favorite track on the entire project is When I Think About It, but it's definitely like for a car ride or when you're just chilling, vibing out. But if I had to rate this project, I would probably give it a 6.5. Not saying that it's bad, but I've just heard a lot better from Future. But this is definitely something that you can run all the way through. If you like trap beats, if you like trap music, if you're looking for lyrical content like that you would get from a J. Cole or a Kendrick or something of that nature, you're not gonna get that from here. It's all sauce, it's all drip. So you know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta feel this, you don't really hear it. You don't pay too much attention to the lyrics, you just kind of feel it. And that's exactly what you have to do when you're listening to a Future project. You can't really decipher his bars because you'll drive yourself crazy. But I'm looking forward to, you know, the album that he drops this year. I'm a huge Future fan. I'm inspired by this project. It's definitely not bad, but not one of his best.